What's up, Picks and Parlay family? It's me, Detroit Lenny, here on a Monday, December 9th. Fighting through it. I'm not gonna get sick. I'm not gonna do it. I just realized that shirt has a string hanging from it. But whatever. Anyways, it's Victory Monday. Talk a little action here. We're gonna talk a little NFL action tonight's Monday Night Football matchup, which could be nothing other than a disaster in both ways. Should be great football. And the Amazon guys here. And then Bengals Cowboys. We'll talk a little of that. We don't have a lot to talk about in the NHL. Small slate today in the NHL. Only 3 games. I don't have any NBA action. So whatever you got. Knicks Raptors the only game on. I didn't dive deep enough into it. To be 100% honest with you. Gonna get down with some cup action tomorrow, but nothing today. Let's put it that way. I'm kind of invested into this NFL game tonight, and that's about it. We'll keep this show short and sweet on this Monday. Still growing the fake beard looking thing where it looks like the glue and you put it on there. That's what it looks like. And I hate it, and my chair's squeaky. I'm just not having a day. It's a Monday. And I apologize, but I do have a spot on my glasses that cannot go unfixed because my OCD won't let it. There you go. All right. Jesus. All right, so we're good. So we got a little bit NHL. The only real game I like is the Wings. And it's probably just because they're the Wings playing Buffalo. Buffalo ain't done anything great. They're not world beaters. To be fair, I want to be 100% fair here. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate because I'm a homer and I'm just taking the Wings. I think the Sabres are the same team. They're both mid, not great. Kind of expected more. Not, you go back as far as the last 5, nobody's won anything. I mean, neither are playing great hockey. So if you're going to give me a coin toss, I'm going to take my Wings. Louis Husso in the net tonight. I don't know if that's good or bad anymore with them. That's just where I'm at. I'm on the Wings in a coin toss. I got plus money. Yeah, sure. I mean, literally, like the Sabres, 11, 13, and 3. Tell me if this doesn't sound familiar. Red Wings, 10, 13, and 4. On the road, Red Wings, 5, 6, and 2. Sabres, 6, 8, and 2. You're seeing some similarities. I don't like the Blackhawks at all, but the price is way too out of hand for the Rangers. In the Ducks Canadian game, I'd be curious, more curious on what a prop total is on viewership for that game outside of the Anaheim, outside of the Montreal market. I want to know who's watching that game. I do. I really want to know. Because I don't even think the Anaheim Duck fan base is watching that game. So I don't have anything in that game. And that's just this Monday Night Football game is going to be a shit show. And I'm down for all of it. In every which way, shape, or form, I'm down for all of it. So, and Knicks Raptors, I don't want nothing to do with it. If you got something that has like a reason behind it, I'm in. But otherwise, don't talk to me about it. I ain't got nothing. And I'm sad about college football. How about Saturday though? How about Saturday? Sunday was a good day for me. Saturday, I'll tell you what, and here's where I get my cookie. You guys ready? Hold on.
What you want, a cookie?
I do. I do want a cookie. Actually, I'm rather hungry, and I'm traditionally a fat guy tendencies, so yeah, I would like a cookie, but I want a cookie for other reasons. Um, how about the 3-0 sweep on Friday night of college football? Can we talk about that? Boise, bang. Where's my UNLV lovers? Where they at? Where my rebel people at? Tulane, where y'all at? Green Wave. Army squashed that shit. Okay. And Jacksonville State, whatever. I'm not claiming to know anything. I was just on them. I like the situation. It wasn't like I was all in up in that. But I've been saying Army all week. Outright winner 35-14. Boise State rolling. Okay. And then we move on to Saturday. Shout out Scott Rice Show, Winners and Whiners, a college capper show. Our best bet over there was Arizona State. No doubt. Never a doubt. Winner. Not one, not a single iota was doubted in that Arizona State game. If you thought Iowa State had a chance, I feel bad for you. Arizona State in every which way, shape, or form. Look at this hair. Holy moly, I need a haircut. I was on Georgia. It took every ounce of it, overtime in every which way, shape, or form. I was on the money line plus points, every which way. Say what you will. Who should have won, could have, would have, should have, whatever. I was surprised the Oregon game was as close as it was. I thought that Oregon was going to destroy them. I was on the over as well, so that cashed. I was on SMU. That was the one I didn't cash this weekend. Oh, here comes Craig Trap talk trash. I was on Ohio. Oh, Louisiana. And Marshall. We didn't have nothing on that. He's going to tell you how great he did in college football, but I'm going to tell you I did really, really great, and I want a cookie. Here's Craig Trap. Listen, we got a soundbite around here, okay? And it goes something like this, Craig.
What you want, a cookie?
What do you want, cookie? And when you come in here and you toot your own horn, like I normally do, I want a cookie. And I had a week in college football. How about you?
I did really good other than the MAC. I really thought
Ohio, man, the Ohio Bobcats.
I follow the MAC very closely. Athens is, from my southeast
down the
home,
street, yeah.
is 30 minutes. From my apartment in Cincinnati, Miami's 45 to 50 minutes. So I follow these two rivals a lot. I thought it was going to be I really thought it would be right down to the end. And I thought Gabbert was a better quarterback. I thought he'd get the win. And I mean, it didn't come down to that because it never was close. Luckily, my best bet was Oregon, and they tried to give it away multiple times, but found a way. There's no way Oregon's winning a championship after watching that game. There's no way.
Who does then?
I just think the SEC is better than everybody else. I think one of those SEC teams is gonna put it together. Probably Georgia. I mean, if I had to take,
God, that's so nasty, Georgia. Right? Could you imagine after the season Georgia's had to still win?
Well, imagine Oregon. Okay, you're the number one seed. You have not lost. Everybody else has lost. You have to face Ohio State, which you already beat, and in your conference in your first game. I mean, everybody.
Can I throw a wild card out there?
Why is Ohio State ranked? They should.
As long as Ohio State doesn't win, I don't care. But can I just tell you that Arizona State's a live dog?
No.
Yes, they are.
I don't think so. Not without that receiver. The receiver that went down is a huge. He's out for the year.
And when Penn State beats SMU, Boise beats Penn State. Boise beats Penn State.
I
Penn State's
don't know.
fraudulent.
I don't know. It's at Boise though, right? So that's
Yeah.
I don't know. To me,
It'll be
this is the most wide
Fiesta
open.
Bowl.
I just like anything can happen. Don't get me wrong, because this is the worst year. I won't say the worst year, because when anything can happen, that's for us bettors. That's great. You have an opinion, and you can get paid off on that opinion at a plus number this year if you're right. But this is the most average year. Whoever wins the national championship this year, like if you go and say the last 20 years, would they beat any of those teams? I'd say no. Like I just think, and it's going to be that way going forward, in my opinion. One, these coaches get paid so much. I'm not sure coaches are going to want to stick around in college football anymore to like have to like re-recruit every year. I think they'll just be like, hey, I'll go to the NFL, and I get paid more. I get travel better. I get treated better, and like, I don't have to re-recruit. I don't have to re-recruit my team every year.
That's true.
So like. But I do think the SEC this year, like if you put any of those Big Ten schools, if you put you put any of the SEC, they don't even make the playoffs because Vandy was beating the top teams in the league this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like you're talking about one of the worst teams in the league. They're beating them. Auburn didn't have a great year. They beat Texas A&M. They beat who else? They beat 2 or 3 teams. South Carolina would have probably won the Big Ten this year. Like. They were this close.
I think Arizona State can beat Clemson or Texas, whoever they have to play out of.
Being a Big 12 guy now that the Cincinnati's in the Big 12, I watched a lot of the Big 12 this year. Look what happened to Oklahoma and Texas. Like coming in, it's much tougher when you got to do it. Now, the good thing is they get a bye.
Yep.
They only got to win 3 games. Everybody else got to.
You let Clemson and Texas beat the hell out of each other.
I think Clemson's going to get murdered. The ACC, this is the worst ACC's been in a very, very long time. I mean, SMU, look what they did, and they still couldn't beat an average Clemson team. So I think, in my opinion, I think Clemson's going to get murdered. And then I think Texas, I still think Texas and Georgia are look what that game was. I think they're the best 2 teams. In my opinion, they're the best 2 teams. Like I would probably – what's the odds now? It's Oregon, Georgia. What do you have the odds in front of you?
Oh no, not even a little bit.
We'll look them up. But I'm guessing. Let's just go out on a limb here. I'm going to go Oregon, Georgia, Texas, Ohio State is what I would think how the odds would stack up as far as top to bottom. As you start going down.
Right.
And then I would say Penn State's probably the 5th. And out of those teams, if I rank them in that order, I'd probably take the money on Penn State if they're 5th. I should be honest. I think Penn State showed a lot. I mean, they didn't even try to pass the ball. So we're just going to run the ball down the throat of Georgia.
Just on Bet Online to win, Georgia's plus 365, Ohio State, Texas, and then Oregon. So it goes Georgia, Texas, Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, Notre Dame. Tennessee, SMU, Arizona.
Notre Dame's the wild card. I will say this. I mean, what would have happened if Notre Dame beat Northern Illinois, which they should have, and they go undefeated? They'd be the number 1 seed right now. And then Arizona State would have got pushed out, and they would have been, I'm guessing, would have been, they would have got in, but they wouldn't have got a bye. I mean, let's be honest. Arizona State does not deserve the bye.
What? I think strength of schedule.
It should go.
I'm telling you, they're going to make noise.
Just because you win the NCAA, you win your conference tournament. You get an automatic bid to get in. I get that. It doesn't mean you're the number 1 seed and you get a bye. You know what I mean? To me, they should say we're just going to rank these teams 1 to 12. The top 4 teams.
I do like that, and I think eventually they get there. But this is better than what we had 5 years ago.
They do not want Boise and Arizona State getting buys. They want the best 2 teams. As much as I hate Ohio State, they're one of the best 4 teams.
How do you think? You don't think they would like Arizona State to get to the Final Four?
No.
No, you don't think they want a small market school to get?
This was to help the small teams. This was to help Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan. This was to help the big schools because now they're basically going to get in every year. Like Alabama, it was like if SMU wins that game, Alabama gets in, and so it would have been like Alabama on a 3-loss year still got in. Last year, if you had 3 losses, you were out.
You were done. You were done. Yeah, for sure.
This helps the big guys, not helps the, it does. Yes, Boise got in this year, and yes, ASU get in this year. This is going to be the rarity. You're not going to see these. Obviously, the Big 12. The Big 12 will get a team in every year. Don't get me wrong. The Big 12 will get a team in every year. So this year just happened to be Arizona State. 4 weeks ago, Arizona State was like what they were 4th in the Big 12. They just kept winning. Yeah. So they've earned their way in. But I mean, it looked like Colorado was going to be in. It looked like Kansas State, Iowa State, one of those 3. And it's just they beat everybody. They got hot at the right time. This is like that's the great thing about the college basketball tournament is like you get hot for the last week of the year, and you can make.
That's all that matters, right? Yeah, NFL too. You want to be healthy, and you want to be momentum going into the playoffs kind of situation. And I
don't know why. I was kind of surprised they took a week off. Like I wouldn't say that you like what I would have done. What I'd like to see them do, because especially this year with the way the calendar falls, is that they don't want to take the Army Navy weekend. I think so. I would have let Army Navy have that weekend, but I would have played Thursday and Friday. This coming Thursday and this coming Thursday and Friday, a week from Thursday and Friday, instead of they're playing on I think Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, right? 2 games Friday, 2 games Saturday.
It's Friday, Saturday. It's Friday. It's hold on, damn it. Well, hold on.
I mean, I guess they don't want to go against Thursday night football, so I can somewhat understand.
Whatever the 21st is.
The 20th, 21st is Friday, Saturday. I would have loved to see them play Thursday, Friday, so because that way
Thursday. I don't know why the only Thursday game is there's a bowl.
Yeah,
Georgia Southern, Sam Houston.
But I would have liked to see them play on Thursday, Friday, because then the following week there's Friday, Saturday, right?
Yeah.
And so I would have liked to have teams that had a full week. Why?
That's fair. I would have did that. Brad Cape says ASU is coached very well. That's fair. What do you think about tonight's Monday night matchup?
Thursday night football, my Bengals. I mean, as a Bengals fan, I want to lose, to be very honest.
That's hard to say. I've been there as a Lions fan.
We're not making the playoffs. Joe Burrow, if you could get to 500, Joe Burrow has a chance to win the MVP. I guess that's the only caveat here is that Joe Burrow would be MVP. But to me, he's going to have other chances to win MVPs, I think. I just think we need a lot. You look at our defense, we need a lot. And, the farther draft you go down the draft, it's just harder to get great talent. So to and or the Bengals are gonna they got a tough offseason because you either got to franchise T. Higgins again and then sign Chase Jamar Chase to a max contract. I'm sure he's gonna be the highest receiver paid. Then you're just more cap hell. They're already in cap hell, but it's now you have your 3 best, and then your best defensive players.
You need some draft help.
So it's I don't know. It's hard once you start paying, your quarterback max dollars. It's you're on the clock. You're on the clock to break your team up. Basically,
I'm on Cincinnati team total over, and I'm on Cincinnati all by itself.
I do have my best plays on the total,
but I got it at 3.5. So
I do think the Bengals will cover. The Cowboys are one of those teams that. First of all, I think they need to lose too.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. I was saying at the beginning of this.
If they lose out, let's just do the what ifs. If they lose out, they're going to have a chance to get one of the quarterbacks.
But that's the Cowboy thing is they won't lose out. They'll probably win out. This division is winnable. The wild card spot is makeable, not the Eagles.
Dak's, I think, tradable. Even though his contract, he's got the max contract, he just signed it.
Who wants it?
Dude, I think Dak in the right system would be all world. It's just
But you know what? I never thought Russell Wilson. To be fair, I never thought Russell Wilson would work under Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh, and it has. I don't care if it's smoke and mirrors behind the defense or whatever. I think Mike Tomlin limits
Minnesota.
Russell Wilson. Sam Darnold, where's he?
Yeah,
He's
like,
he's new
if
contract.
you
He will
have
not
great,
be Viking next
if
year.
you're telling me Dak was at Minnesota or he was at San
Yeah.
Francisco, you don't think he'd put up crazy numbers? You're talking about the greatest offensive minds right now, those two guys
Oh,
probably.
Raiders.
Like, I mean, but he'd be in the same situation with the Raiders where it's like it's kind of dysfunctional. Like, if you put him in a system that's a quarterback-friendly system that has great players around him that he's just asked to just do his job, I think Dak would have a chance. Dak was like the third, I think, the MVP voting last year. I mean, he had a great year. So it's like that's why he got paid.
No, I just don't. I've always thought
CeeDee Lamb is a number one receiver, like he's top 5 receiver in the league,
which makes Dak better.
I mean, if they could get a running
obviously,
back,
but I'm just saying,
the kid
I
from
think
Boise,
he
which is,
has
I
to
guess,
go
they're
to
in
a
love with that
perfect
kid from.
situation.
If they got the kid from Boise, like, dude, that offense would be all of a sudden because they can't run the ball right now. So it's like you did that and you got him a little offensive line help. I mean, the crazy thing is that Derrick Henry wanted to go there. He's from Texas. He wanted to play there, and he did not sign for a lot of money.
Mess that up though.
He's like, we couldn't afford him. It's like,
hire Dion.
Dude, you paid 2 guys the same as you did Derrick Henry. You could have just paid him. As far as running backs are concerned,
and he wanted to be there. He wanted to be a Cowboy. That's what's dumb.
I don't know.
The Giants sign Prescott. That would be
he's on a contract, so you can't sign him. It would have to be a trade, and they don't trade with it.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think Deion's leaving Oregon. I really don't, because
you mean Colorado?
Colorado. I don't think he's leaving Colorado. I think he likes college. Like, I really do think he likes college.
I think he could be like.
He knows Jerry Jones better than anybody too. I don't think he wants to go be there. Like, that's
my thing. Is he's kind of like, no. I think he could be a good college coach, but I don't think he survives in the NFL.
Like, I think Bengals fire Zach. If you said to Deion you could have that job, now that's a different story, because I think you could say that you have the top 3. I think you probably have the best receiver or second best receiver. You have second or third or first best quarterback. It's like, dude, that's a good thing to start with.
I think for less money, you could get Ben Johnson.
No,
and I think
I think Ben Johnson's going to break the bank. He's going to be a.
He is, but Deion brings.
He's going to get more than Deion. If Deion signs, he'll get more than Deion, because he's proven it in the NFL that he can, like, do.
But
what
I don't
he
think he leaves unless we win a Super Bowl.
The problem with Deion's more of what I call the CEO coach, which that's awesome. Like, there's plenty of really good, great coaches. But to me, in the NFL, you either need to be a defensive mind or an offensive mind. So that way, I guess Harbaugh's not in Baltimore, but like that way you can say, hey, I just need to go get a really good defensive coach if I'm an offensive guy, or vice versa. But to me, he's kind of a CEO in the middle, and I don't know what he's great at. Now, if he gets the right offensive guy behind him, the right defensive mind, like, still could work. But it really comes down to then your hiring of your offensive and defensive coordinators. And like, if Ben Johnson goes to the Bears,
that's never ever going to happen. It's just stop talking about it. It's never. Don't even speak it.
I think that's the most likely spot for him.
No way, because I don't believe the culture in that locker room believes anything that the Bears are selling. They are fraudulent. Caleb Williams is not going to work as a Bear. And I know I sound like just that Lions fan. I watched him out of USC. I'm telling you, he will never be successful as a Chicago Bear. Maybe he has some spark after like a Justin Fields situation with like a new.
The problem with Johnson is you're going to have to hold out most likely to the Super Bowl. So like you know what I mean? Like, do you think you can get him? So that's like, say if you're the Bears, you already know you fired your coach. The Bengals, say they fired their coach after the last game. But there's teams that already have fired their coach. So it's like, now you already start talking to the coaches. It's like, do you want to wait all the way, past the Super Bowl to take a chance to interview? Maybe they'll let him be interviewed the week between the Super Bowl.
But he's already said he came back this year because he said he had unfinished business, right? Because
that's what I'm saying. I don't know if he wants to.
You're gonna have to go later, right? And I just don't see him crossing. Detroit, maybe it's just a Union City or whatever, whatever, but I don't see him crossing the picket line to the other side of the fence in
It's not
Chicago.
like that anymore, though. Like, I just
Oh,
don't believe
it
coaches.
is in Detroit,
There's
and
not a
I feel
hatred
like
for Chicago because they're not any good.
yeah, but
It would be
he
if
could
it was
make
Green Bay.
um,
That would be a different story. Like where you like
yeah, we'd have to there'd be
right.
violence if that happened.
I
But
mean, I'm guessing
no,
the
I think he
Giants are
goes
going
to
to
the
fire their
AFC.
coach. I'm guessing the Raiders are firing their coach. I think the Bengals will fire their coach. Like, there's going to end up being probably 5, 6, 7 jobs open.
Yeah.
You know,
I think he
It-
goes to the AFC. I don't think he stays in the NFC. If he goes to the AFC. I worry more about Ben Johnson leaving for sure. Anybody who tells you anything else is crazy. But losing Aaron
Glenn's.
Glenn
Yeah, I
will
was going
not
to say
be a problem.
he's going to get every opportunity, maybe even more opportunities to leave. I think he's a great mind as well. And the
But
whole Rooney Rule now, where he's going to get interviewed more because you got to
yep.
interview a black candidate. So, like, and he, from what I understand, is super impressive. Like when he was in the interview cycles before. So,
Mhm.
I mean, he might have more opportunities. The problem is like the Raiders went defense; it didn't work. Most likely, they need to go offense. The Bengals, I got to think, even though Zach came from the Rams, like
Right.
bloodlines, and you think but he really wasn't on offense. He's like the offensive coordinator left and became the Titans coach this past year. So, like, I think they'll probably be looking offense. I'm guessing. How about the Patriots? They're freaking pretty bad. I know it's a first year coach, but it's like
I
it
know. I
happens.
was going to say down in Florida too. They might Jacksonville.
Jacksonville's for sure getting rid of their coach. I forgot about that. And
Yeah,
Jacksonville is
down
like a
there.
wild card because 3 years ago, you're talking about the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about like can't miss prospect. Like if you're an offensive guy like Johnson is, like you probably look at that. And that's what you have to evaluate.
Yep.
Is he just been coached badly? If I go there, can I do what I did with
Can I
Jared
do
Goff?
better? Right.
If I do it with Jared Goff, now we've got an undervalued, spot.
Speaking of
Burrow,
New
obviously,
England,
the leaders.
Bill Belichick, how do you feel about him in the
No, there's
the
no. He's got to be effing
come
with.
on.
He's got to
Why
be
is he
effing with North
North
Carolina, right?
Carolina?
No
Right?
way.
Come
Like
on.
if you said Alabama or
No way he goes to a program like that. He's not built like
no, but
that
I
for
mean,
just
like, why if
throw
you're
money
him
at it.
would you go to a program where it's going to be hard to get the top level talent?
I would imagine he's a Navy guy, I think, right? Wasn't he? Didn't he go
His
Navy?
dad coached at Navy.
Navy, yeah, I could see him doing
The
something like
Navy,
that.
although Navy had a good year, and Army had a
That's
good
what I
year, but
mean. And he would bring
those coaches don't
talent
get promoted
there.
a ton.
I know, but I mean, I don't feel like he's going. Where is he going to fit in? And he is past his prime,
It kind of
obviously. I mean,
he only needs like 12 wins to become the all-time winningest coach. So it makes way more sense that he comes to the NFL and gets those wins.
and he just goes down to Jacksonville. He's a Florida guy. He already lives down there. No state tax.
Like what if
That's
he
where
went to?
everybody goes to
I tell you, if
retire.
he goes to the Bears, though, the Bears got a pretty good defense already. And if you
Yeah.
put that
I don't
mind,
want that. Don't say that out loud either, because
and he
I
likes
don't
the
want to play
cold,
that
he
Bears
liked it in New
defense right
England.
now.
But at his age, wouldn't you be like, hey, go to Vegas? It's indoors. Go to Jacksonville. It's like, it's the retirement community already.
Hey, Tom Brady just bought into the Raiders. Go to the
Yeah.
Raiders. Oh, I would love to see the angry Belichick in that black and he'd fit right in.
I mean,
And
I did hear
that's the only place he goes west.
that
Warm weather.
Dion and either Travis or Dion and Shador are a package deal with the Raiders, like that they would Dion would come to the Raiders and they would draft one of them, or they're going to end up with the top two or three pick, and that Dion would go if they could get the pick. And I was like,
Michael Dost wins comment of the year. I need a Juan Soto contract. Now's the time. Big J. I'm just hey, you miss 100% of the shots.
That is the worst. Right? That will go down as the worst contract ever in baseball. I'm guessing.
Even with Bobby Bonilla?
No way. First of all, yes, because Bobby Bonilla was a couple million. Like you're talking about,
but it's forever. Like he gets paid.
I mean, this guy's going to get paid till he's like 40. First of all, the last 5 years, he'll be a shell. I'm
Hey,
guessing we'll never
Mets
see
fans
that
love
part.
this. Mets fans love this. I don't understand.
You could go get like 3 really good pitchers. If you have 3 really good pitchers, it's better than Juan Soto. I guarantee next year, like you would have a better because you
and
could
now you
go
got
get a
nothing.
young prospect that no, they're not going to hit his numbers. They're not going to, but 2 or 3 players will. Like I don't know. It's the fact that the
This
Yankees
was
only missed out
strictly
on $5
personal.
million.
This was just a shot at the Yankees, I think.
$5 million is all that the Yankees were. I mean, I guess the Yankees weren't putting the big money up front or something. So maybe it's
Yeah, they
it's
wanted
$5
to
million.
do a.
They didn't want to give them the
not
80 million
Ichiro,
up front or something, that the signing bonus.
Yeah, they want to defer all that money, like
Well, they just want to give it to them like individual years,
yeah,
like 5 million up front and then 40 million a year, 50 million a year, or whatever. I don't know.
None of that
I
money
think
is
Major League
deferred.
Baseball needs to do what the NBA did, where you can only sign 6-year deal and it can only be a max of blah. You know what your max is in the NBA. Like it's the max.
You offer
You
them
can only be so much of the.
right.
But they have a salary cap, so you can only be so much of the salary cap. Blah blah blah. Because to me, to have on the Yankees or on the Mets or on the Dodgers, to have 4 players that make up 90% of your, like, that's bad. That's not.
That's
yes, it's
not
good for those
healthy.
players. It's not great for the bottom of the rosters. It's not
No,
great for your long term. If a couple
how's
of them
that
get
good
hurt,
for your farm system?
it's well, those guys are all like those are all slotted spots. So
Yeah, but
that's not a. But it's like the guy that's the bottom 5 guys on the roster making a couple $100,000 to me. Now, granted, the differences in the NBA between say Steph Curry and the rookie is 58
a little
million or
different.
whatever he makes. I don't know. But they have like 6-year deals, like right. So
I would imagine
the Dodgers
I
are
know.
deferred $1 billion with a B, $1 billion to like 5 players because of the because of the Ohtani deal.
Ohtani,
which I guess they were willing to pay him.
That's what the Yankees wanted to
700
do.
million.
Yeah,
They were willing to do 700 million. The Dodgers, Soto.
yeah.
And he wouldn't even talk to him. I guess he wanted to stay on the East Coast, which I don't know why you'd want to stay on the East Coast.
I don't know who's into that, but whatever.
Like I've been in, for you guys that live in New York and like on a daily basis, the commute, you're crazy. You're crazy.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, I would say if you live on the West Coast, you're crazy too, because the same thing. It's like,
if you get on the 505 now, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I just don't understand.
Here.
I don't understand it. And now, if they had helicopters, I could afford to which I guess he could, where you're flying.
Well, you get on Elon Musk's budget, and you need to just jetpack places. That's the new things.
What do you do if you're an owner? I mean, and Mark Cuban said this the other day that within 5 years, the NBA players will make more than the owners.
Yeah, I mean, that's
one player will make more than the owner will profit from a team. And he's like, it's revenue sharing. So it's, like as the revenue goes up, their salaries are going to go up, and they're going up at a scale that's like crazy. Steph Curry, I think, is going to make 60 million this year or something stupid. Maybe it's somebody else, but it's like 60 million. And you figure, if you make 50 million because the value of the teams, of course, are going up too, that you don't get that every year. Like, to me, it's just like, it's just how much more you need, like what's the difference between Juan Soto getting 40 million and 60 million a year?
Well,
he's going to live the same life.
It all brings back to the ads. I mean, how much are they going to charge for this? I mean, the Super Bowl ads year after year after year continuously just continue to grow.
I mean, what's a beer at the Met Stadium going to cost now?
You can't go to a.
They should have to have a tax, the Juan Soto tax, and it's like on every item. It's like it's 5%. Your beer
I paid more.
5%.
I went to the Tigers playoff game. Okay, in Detroit at Comerica Park, the last one at whatever game it was. I went there. I paid more for a hot dog, pretzel, and a beer than I did my ticket. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
It's here's my
here's my thing about Vegas down the third base line.
It's the same thing. You live in Vegas a long time. That would 15 years I used to be able to go to Vegas, and you would pay $100 a room, 150. It didn't matter the room.
Yeah, whatever.
Everything else was comped. I mean, you could comp everything. And I was not a high roller back then. I would, I might gamble on a 5-day trip, $5,000, $10,000. So they would comp, $1,000 off of my food and dinner. But now you go to a show, it's 150 times 2 if you take in a date.
Yeah.
A beer. Like when I go to a concert, I'm spending $400 on alcohol for 2 people. You know, a
Oh,
double
easily.
shot of Jack and Diet, which is what I get, is it's a big drink, but still, it's like I'm
Yeah.
getting 4 or 5 of them. You get them times 2. There's 2 of us.
Eh,
It's like $70 with tip.
Right. Yeah.
I'm doing
For
that 2, 3 times. It's like I'm spending $300-$400 just on alcohol.
I know you're Yellowstone, the TV show,
Yep.
whatever. They have that 4 Sixes Ranch. Well,
Yep.
they opened up a steakhouse
I gotta
in
try
the
it.
Wynn. Yeah, and my wife finds this. She sees this commercial or so, I don't know, TikTok or
It's like a
something. She's like,
pop-up though, right? It's not gonna be like a full time. I heard it's only like
I
a
don't
limited
know, but
time.
all of a sudden she's like, we gotta go, and I'm like, no, we don't. I mean, it's 60 degrees in Las Vegas today. I can barbecue you a steak, and
No,
we can
no,
call it Lenny's
not
Five
like
Sixes.
that.
I don't care what you
You
want
can
to call it.
order steak from that place. I'm pretty
Yo,
sure. Like
so all the steak, I watched this. I'm pretty sure it was Instagram or TikTok, whatever. All the steak is bred
yep.
from the ranch in Texas
But
for
I
the
think you can just
steakhouse.
like if you
The
wanted it for
drinks are like
Christmas,
around characters, and stuff
you
like
could
that.
like say I want the 5 6's ranch, I think, and like get it for Christmas, like delivered, it's like on dry ice or whatever.
Oh, don't tell her that.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
No,
But
no,
like,
you can't, babe.
but to
You
me,
can't do that.
Vegas has got to. It's corporate. That's what I was getting at. It's corporate.
Yeah.
Now the games, these it used to be if you sucked, like the Tigers and the Reds sucked. They used to call them top 10 ticket draws. So anywhere top 10 tickets, it was like $6 to get into a Reds
Right.
game. And the top 10 tickets back then, they were the only thing undercover because they had like an overhang. So if it rained, snowed, whatever, you were undercover. So, and then
Yeah.
you would just walk down. You would just, because there's no one sitting.
We had $5 bleacher seats at Tiger Stadium.
That was like,
and there was no cover. You were in the sun. You couldn't see
and then they do
shit.
like 2 for
It was
$1 hot dogs.
$5.
You get like 2 hot dogs and 2 drinks, or 2 hot dogs and 2 beers. It'd be like it's like like when you go to the movies, it was kind of like a deal. It's like $20 or something. You're like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
you're going for like $40 or $50 and you get a meal, and not anymore.
No.
Not anymore.
I'm telling you, best deal in Las Vegas. I tell people all the time, they come during the summer or anytime during baseball season, go to a Las Vegas Aviator game. If you can get there on a Tuesday or Thursday at home, they got $2 beers, $2 hot dogs. It's a good time for minor league baseball. There's not a bad seat.
I guess.
A minor league
what
baseball
are they doing,
stadium,
Lenny? Are they going to?
they're in
Because
summer.
the A's own them.
Yep, they're staying there.
There's no way they're going to have a minor league and a major league in the same city.
For now.
I mean, for now, because they're not playing there for 3 years.
They still don't know where the Major League Baseball stadium is going to be. Well, no, the permanent one here in Vegas, yeah.
Oh,
because they might move up to Henderson.
No, they're already. I just saw today where they like
the Golden Knights and the Silver Knights, the Henderson Silver Knights. That's
was
minor
a little
league.
different in hockey.
I
but
know,
in baseball, there's so many days for games. Like it's hard on weekdays to. I don't care what city you're in. Yankees, Mets, Dodgers. Weekday games just don't have the value that a weekend game does. So now, if you have weekend games at both the minor league and the major league, you're going to go to the major league, and most likely,
right? But like,
and it's going to be air conditioned. I saw they're going to have air conditioned seats.
They're going to have a dome. I'll tell you what. You go to a minor league baseball game. Me, Nick, and Tim, when they came to Vegas, and Allie Burns, we all went to a small baseball game out here in the middle of July. And I'll tell you what, outside, I don't care if it's nighttime or not in July, it's hot. And it's hot. And I only mentioned that because it just came up on my timeline. It was like 3 years ago or something like that. It was so
they're gonna obviously air condition the dome, but because in the summer, if you haven't been to Vegas in July and August, I mean, you walk outside, you're instantly sweaty. I don't care if it's dry heat or whatever. It's 110 degrees. It's ridiculous.
Like 110 to 110. I don't care if it's got humidity.
June through September, I usually don't go to Vegas. But every once in a while, you don't have a choice. There's something going on. They could drag me out there, and I'll go. So they're going to have.
They don't have to twist his arm real hard, folks. By the way,
they're going to air condition the seats, kind of like your expensive cars.
Oh,
auto cars.
So you're telling me my tush gets air conditioned?
Now I don't think probably like although they're only going to have 37,000 seats.
I'll buy a ticket for that. I'm telling you, just so my ass.
I don't know. I think the Red Stadium holds like high 40s. So 37,000. I guess it's going to be the smallest stadium in the.
I think every stadium ever built from here on out for every sport should have a retractable roof. including hockey. There's nothing better than an outside hockey game.
Yeah, I think Buffalo's new stadium is still not going to have a roof. The new football stadium, the Bills. I'm like, I don't understand. You will have lake effect snow. You know you're going to get snow. Like I don't understand.
You
Now
can open it when the game starts.
Right now their stadium does not have a heated field. One of the few, like Denver has a heated field, Cleveland I think has a heated field, or maybe it's Cleveland does. I forget, but it's definitely going to have that. So you'll be able to like get the snow off of it easier in most cases. But to me, it's like it should be mandatory for every major league sport, which we're talking NBA. Obviously, they're indoors.
Right.
Major League Baseball and NFL should be a retractable roof. One, the stadiums become more valuable to the cities because you can use them year round for a million
%. It just makes, if it makes dollars, it makes sense. And that makes dollars.
Like, it just doesn't make any sense that some of the coldest markets, like Minnesota gets it. They have always had a dome in my lifetime. Cleveland and Buffalo are just morons. But like even Cincinnati,
it's a lot.
It's too cold. Like if you wanted to have a bowl, like every year, I always said they should have the Chili Bowl every year, sponsored by Skyline or Gold Star. They should, like the famous, if you guys don't know, that's the famous 2 chili places in my hometown. But they should have the Chili Bowl. But it's like, how are you getting kids to come there in middle of December to early January and be like, hey, you can come visit the city and you're going to freeze to death. And then you got to go play outdoors, maybe snow. It's like, but if you had a dome, it would be super easy. Like got a pretty walkable area downtown. Like you could have a really cool thing at convention center.
You could do so much concerts, events, like you mentioned, just everything in general. You could do it. Just I just think open it up when it's you want that Monday Night Football game in the snow. Open it up when it starts to snow.
Well, see, that is their argument. I heard from Buffalo or Cleveland. I forget which one it was. Because Cleveland's new stadium is going to be in the suburbs. It's not going to be downtown. They've already bought the space, and it's going to be a retractable roof. But
Arizona's
if it snows, they can't do it if it's snow because the inside isn't built to freeze. Like, that's one of the savings. Like when you build a stadium outside, you have to like the pipes and everything freeze because everything's outside. So like if it's cold, you have to close the roof when it's cold because it would freeze the indoor stuff. And then, you got.
I got to believe in today's technology. Elon Musk is going back and forth to the moon, for Christ's sake. I think.
I don't know why you'd want snow, Gabe. First of all, at the NFL, it's cool to watch.
It's a great effect. But you ever watch the game in the snow?
We've seen 2 lately. We saw the Cleveland-Pittsburgh game and we saw the Buffalo 49ers game. The 49ers had no chance in the snow. No chance. A team from the West Coast.
But I mean, you ever been live to a football game in the snow, like as a fan?
Dude, I would never go to a game that was in the snow. Ever.
I told my wife the other night we were watching a game. I'm like, you see those people right there? I go, I have never desired to be them. No. As much as I love football, I have never desired.
Just because you're from Detroit, you've lived in Vegas so long, like a winter jacket to you is like,
I have shorts on right now, folks.
Yeah. And I wore shorts today. It was 52 degrees here. I wore shorts. Everybody else was wearing winter jackets still. I was like, guys, take advantage of 50
I'll put a hoodie on. I am that guy that you see in Vegas that has Hey Dudes on, basketball shorts, a hoodie, and a beanie. I am that guy. I got a beanie on. I got a hoodie. I got basketball shorts on and some Hey Dudes. When you see those guys out in Vegas, those are my people. We travel.
Who said somebody's going to take the Dead Wings tonight? Hey, let me just tell you something. You need to bet against every Detroit team except the Lions because Lenny sold them up the river. He said, hey, we're going to all my teams are going to suck for the next decade for a chance to win a Super Bowl this year.
False statement. You can think this on Peyton Manning and Jeff Daniels. They did a exorcism of the curse of Bobby Lane at Ford Field with a bathtub full of whiskey. Google it. I can't make this up. They filmed a whole Peyton's Place on ESPN about it. Jeff Daniels, those of you who don't know, he is actor, Dumb and Dumber, whatever. Yeah. Great actor, Michigander, loves his Lions. They performed this exorcism of Bobby Lane, former quarterback from way back when, 50s, whatever. And they full of bathtub was supposed to be full of holy water, but they didn't have any, right? So Peyton Manning filled it with whiskey, and he sang a song about it. Jeff, I'm telling you, since then, since they aired this episode, I cannot make this up, people. You can look up the stats. We're like 27-4.
Well, let
It's
me explain something.
ridiculous.
This is a 1 year. You don't win this year, you lose your offensive defensive coordinator, and they probably pull some of the players with them, which is kind of standard at that, especially after you do well, everybody wants
Yeah.
raises.
I mean, yeah.
This could be a 1 year thing.
We're
Like,
not one and done. We're built for the future.
I
We're
don't
built for
know.
a dynasty.
It don't work that way. Once you
Well,
start
it's
paying
about
players, like the
no,
only
no.
team, there's only two
Kansas City
teams.
did it for the last 5 years.
There's two teams. Kansas City and the Patriots are the only two teams that have held like Super Bowl type success over a long period of time. I mean, like it just is almost impossible. The way
it's structured,
the structure of the contracts are, and that the coaches leave. I mean, like if you have an unbelievable coaching staff and you win, even if you're halfway successful, you lose the great coaches. I mean, it was a miracle they didn't lose one of them last year. One or two of them last year.
I would have thought we would have not got out of both of them. I figured one was going to leave. I would have been. I wanted Ben. If I had to pick, gun to my head, have to pick one, I would have picked Ben Johnson to stay.
Oh, of course.
Obviously, but I do like. Our linebacker coach. Last name is Sheffield. He played linebacker for the Seattle Seahawks when they went to the Super Bowl. He's got long dreadlocks hair. Anyways, I can't think of his name now for the life of me, but he's our next defensive coordinator. Hold on. I'm going to look. It's going to bug the hell out of me.
They're done with the draft picks, right? Like all the draft picks they got for the Stafford deal. They've already.
Yeah. Now it's just ours.
See, they also had that. That was like the supercharge where they got. I mean, they got
Kelvin Shepard, Sheffield.
They got all those draft picks, that draft capital. No, they got all that draft capital for trading away Stafford, and got a good quarterback that they've turned into.
It's worked out for everybody involved. And I wish the NFL.
That did not work out for the Rams. Got a Super Bowl, yes.
That's what they wanted. That's what they got.
But
you asked for it. That's what they got.
I guess in that context, yes, they got because.
I mean,
with
the
that
problem
mind,
is they were one player away. I mean, you look at it; they're all Hall of Fame, arguably center.
But other than Stafford,
what's his name? He retired right after that. They lost a lot of people right after that.
Since the Super Bowl, look how many players they still have from the Super Bowl. It's like 5 players from the Super Bowl.
Exactly. So they dismantled and all went their separate ways.
And they got really lucky that they hit like Puka late in the draft because they didn't have any good draft picks. They've drafted extremely well for them to be able to even keep up what they have going right now.
Yeah.
But the Lions fleeced them.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't think if you're a Rams fan, you're mad about that trade because you wanted, that was the only thing you needed to win a Super Bowl.
The difference is the Rams. Who's the Rams fans? Because you abandoned St. Louis.
They are the weakest fan base.
And the people in LA, they go with the weather. It's like, I'll go to the game if it's nice out and nothing else to do. So it's like, I don't know. Like to me, it's like I don't consider the Rams or the Chargers fans real fans because the real fans were where they moved from. And a lot of them aren't going to go to those games. It's kind of like the Raiders a little bit.
Implants from somewhere else. That's how.
Although the Raiders people still will drive. I've seen them. Like you go to Vegas on a day of
Raiders fans are built different.
They're just a different breed.
My cousin and her husband, born, just in San Francisco the whole time. They've been Raider fans since Oakland. Okay, now retired down in Texas, still hold those tickets, season tickets to Raiders.
Yeah, they probably go to one in
Vegas.
Games.
Yeah, they sell half of them and go to half of them, and it works out. Pays for everything. But Raiders fans are built different.
But like if you're a Rams fan in St. Louis, you're like you're not going to the freaking LA.
Yeah, and that's
if you're in San Diego, San Diego fans feel like they got so screwed that a lot of them are like, screw it, I'm not doing the NFL thing.
And this MLB thing coming to Vegas, I don't think it works.
Oh, it'll work.
I don't think the
it'll work just like
fan base is going to follow him.
Well, they don't have fans there, so it's like. But I think Vegas is.
They're not going to build one here.
I think they will, and I think they'll be successful right away because
I think they will, but I think they'll.
I mean, the owner of the
fall off
to be able to afford this. He's going to have to take on investors. He's already out there in Vegas trying to get investors.
Yeah.
So he's probably going to sell 45% of the team still have the majority share, but he's going to get a ton of money. So they're going to all of a sudden, they didn't have a lot of money in Oakland to go spend on the roster. You saw what they were almost always the lowest spend team. They're going to be somewhere. They're not going to Dodgers type payroll, but they're going to be their payroll will be in the middle now instead of the bottom, and that's all you have to do. You don't have to spend in baseball we've seen the Rays. They've been successful for how long?
I don't know if baseball expands. Do you? 32 teams. I mean,
where does it need a team?
Need a team, but I don't know if they need a team. Hot markets though. Utah's a hot market right now for whatever reason.
Not for baseball, I wouldn't think.
I don't think. I don't know.
Nashville? To me, I don't think so. It's not like if you said football, like Nashville, okay, but
Tennessee
they already have a team.
area. I don't know, man.
But like that's a football driven area. NBA is the only thing that's going to expand, and that's going to be Vegas and Seattle because
I can't. If you'd have asked me 10 years ago what major sport was coming to Vegas first, I'd have said the NBA. I'd have put dollars to donuts. I'd have said the NBA all day. They already here. They do. It makes sense for the NBA to come here. I would have never thought NFL was coming here. I sure in the hell would have never thought the square baseball, old world, nostalgic baseball was ever going to let Vegas come here.
I don't think baseball wanted to go there. They did. They had a lack of options. Oakland did not want to build
Carolina,
a stadium.
Portland, Memphis.
Like Portland rains too much.
Seattle.
And in the summer, Portland is that's outdoor area. People love to be in the outdoors, and so it's like I don't know. Like
I would see a Carolina game.
First of all, baseball is the most watered down game. Look at the top heavy and the bottom. Like the middle has gotten a little bigger lately. And we've seen what Kansas City's done, what Detroit did this past year. So we've seen teams that are in the middle, but it's hard to sustain that success. To me, the baseball does not need to expand. First of all, go look. It's not a sport that's having super expansion. Like it's not hot. The hot sport is actually soccer, volley, men's, girls, and boys volleyball is super growing. Lacrosse, football is actually one of the sports that if you look as far as
out here in Vegas, the Desert Dogs is their the lacrosse team, and they're sending it out. They're marketing so much locally for like holiday packages. I was just looking. I could take all my boys for like $20 a seat at a lacrosse game and sit like front row damn near. We're going to do that before we go to see the Oakland.
I think parents are less likely to have their kid play football. So there's other sports that are like trying to, they try to get in some of those kids. It's only going to get worse because the guys that are playing now are probably okay with the injuries because we don't try to hit as hard. But the guys that you thought of, the Troy Aikmans and that, these guys are maybe not them specifically, but guys are going to show up and it's going to, Junior Seau killed himself because of CTE. These guys, it's going to continue to happen, and that's going to continue to be a black eye on football. And parents are going to be like, even you hear NFL players are like, I would never let my boy play football because of
I had this conversation with my wife about our youngest, he's in 7th grade. He's playing tackle football. It is what it is.
When you go south, they're playing flag football until they're in high school. A lot of places are 7-on-7 in Texas.
Yep. And they wear those dome things.
If you said the way to say football is say, hey, until you're 15, 16 years old, we're not going to hit. We're going to play.
Until you're old enough to actually comprehend the educational part of a tackle and not hurt yourself or anybody else, I don't think you should be able to do that. I don't know. And I honestly think there should be some sort of, instead of getting your physical to make sure you can go play, I think there should be some sort of maturity level test. Yeah. I don't know how.
It's a very
hard, you know what I mean?
Thing to violence and the head injuries. It's a hard thing to get out of the sport when it's naturally bigger, stronger, faster people as we grow.
Pickleball. That's it. It's coming. No. Lenny ain't got knees to move like that. Lenny is a.
There's a reason why basketball is getting all the greatest athletes play basketball for a reason. You don't have to, look at what the guys make in basketball. They make hell, LeBron's playing until he's 40. You play for 20 some years, you retire and you're not crippled. LeBron's going to most likely, as much as I hate it, is going to own the Las Vegas team. That's pretty common knowledge that he's going to be in that ownership group.
Tom Brady too.
I don't know. Like
I don't know.
I think LeBron will get to choose who he wants in his ownership group. One, it'll have to be a Steve Wynn type in Vegas that's got, that's the, he's a billionaire,
Oh,
but he's a
he's
poor
Mr.
billionaire
Vegas. Yeah.
compared to some of the other. There's like more billionaires in Vegas than anything, I think, other than like New York and LA. So it's like there's tons of them there to choose from.
I ain't one of them.
Yeah. When I'm there, I'm not either. But like he's got plenty of choices. I think a couple of them will jump in, and then they'll have some famous people like, maybe a Tom Brady.
Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, he lives in town. He's setting up a studio in town now.
He's trying to turn Vegas into like the second Hollywood. He's got a studio out here.
Well, he thinks it'll be the first
TV.
Yeah, he thinks it'll be bigger than Hollywood in 10 years because one, taxes, like the avoidance of taxes, that it'll be easier to get people to move there because the cost of living in LA is so high.
Let me tell you, people, right now, for those of you thinking, and California people, stop coming here. It's actively like all over local TV. They are like the housing market, the roads. Me and my wife were just talking about this. I forget where we went to drop my son's friend off somewhere at his house or whatever. Just the amount of houses, like they're just taking and I'm going up towards Mount Charleston is where I am, towards Centennial, and they just keep building and building, and they are just just crushing it.
19 years or 20 years I've been coming to Vegas, and I always was driving. I always got a rental car, did a lot in the suburbs because you live in the sports books and stuff. It's like you kind of got to get away some days. You go out to Red Rocks, and it's like used to be nothing. You got outside the loop, and it was like, just desert. And now it's like it just keeps on going.
There's traffic now when you go around there and you pass Red Rock. I'm like, oh man, there's traffic.
Yeah, it's a different, but compared to what LA's used to, it's still way cheaper. It's still way no cheaper, traffic.
There's everything. Yeah, so I understand it, but I don't believe his.
Now, I just don't know because yes, those people will, but there's still not a ton of industry in Vegas. So it's not like, what are rest of the people going to do? Like that's, if you're not involved in that, which most people are in the casino business.
You see how it survived with just the Vegas now. If you don't work at the casino, where do you work in Vegas? If you don't work, like you ask anybody that lives out here, they work in the casino. I don't care if you're a plumber
or support of a casino
or something. Yeah, HVAC. I don't care what you do. Somebody works at a casino. So what do you do besides that? So now you get Hollywood type industry in here as well. I can't wait to get out of here because there's too many people coming here. When I got here, it was just whatever.
Lenny's trying to get out. I'm trying to move back. I mean, I used to have a place out there that I was in there, 20 weeks a year. I'm hoping kids are in high school, a couple more year and a half more, that I get my place back in Vegas because I love to come visit. It's the greatest city to visit for a week every month. Yeah,
it's great to come visit.
Oh,
and you know what? It's great to live here because I shouldn't like rag on them too much because it's just I live on the outskirts. I mean, everywhere you go in Vegas is 15 minutes. You can get wherever, right? But like, I don't go downtown. I don't live on the strip. I don't do that or anything. I'm outside, so I got no complaints, to be honest with you. And
you have a different life than most people in Vegas.
Oh yeah, I don't go around. I don't do the now that I can bet online. I don't even have to go to the casino to make a wager.
I remember when the online sports books happened, that was why the sports books managers that I used to talk to were like, we can't allow online betting because we need people to come to the casino to have to place the bets because it keeps the people in the suburbs coming to the sports books. And I'm like, dude, they ain't coming down here to place a bet. They're going to go to the local places. So it ain't still helping you.
Going to a stationed casino.
I think it was Vaquero. I talked to him. This is probably 15 years ago, 12 years ago. And he's like, we'll never do it. And they did. They fought, South Point fought for a long time. And then finally they got it. And then I remember going back and meeting him after right when Veasan started we were one of the early opportunity investors in Veasan way back when. We had a chance to invest in that. So we went and talked to him and Musburger and all those guys. And he was like telling me how great it was. And he had the numbers. We went behind the table and he was like showing us like there's people actively betting and stuff on his app. He's like, you can't believe this. I'm like, dude, you fought this. This is like, you're 5 years behind.
Right.
Like, imagine it. He's like, yeah, if we would have done this 5 years ago, we'd have been in a different spot. I was like, yeah,
I'll tell you
exactly.
what, having to sit in line, trying to live bet or anything, or trying to get your bet, God for in the line will be around the damn
I mean,
down
it
the
was awesome. I
it
will
moved
say
quick.
that. It was awesome, 15 years ago before online because, man, the excitement. I remember I would get up in Vegas, so it's like I'm used to being up because, you're on the Eastern Coast time, but people out there, it's like 8 o'clock in the morning, the game started at noon. It's like it's 11, so they only have an hour
Right.
and the line would be wrapped around and people were worried they weren't going to get in for the noon college basketball or college football games. And I'm like, I've already been up, already got my bets in, no problem. But it's like,
Yeah. I've
you
done
don't
that.
have to worry about that anymore because one, they have kiosk and
Now
so
you
some
don't
people
even
work
have to
harder.
wait in line. You just walk in, kiosk. I can cash out. I don't even have to go nowhere. It goes,
Yeah.
oh, it's so bad. It's so convenient, is what it is. Do you think they thought it would be this successful?
Oh yeah. I mean, when
I
people,
don't,
people probably
I
don't
think
know.
yeah,
Six years ago, it became legal.
yeah,
No one wanted any piece of picks and parlays before that. Mitch, my former business partner, and me, like we ran it, we made tons of money, but no one wanted a piece of it. I mean, instantly when New Jersey became, that passed,
yeah,
it was like, I mean, people were trying to buy us, and then
mhm,
right after that, we merged
like that, yeah.
with the small company out of Sweden, and they gave us a bunch of money, and then we merged into a big giant company in Sweden, and they gave us even more money, and that's where we are now in a company called Raytech. So, like, the excitement around gambling now it's leveled
Right,
off a little because
right.
like all those purchases of Vegas Insider covers, the who's who all sold um, along with us. It was like then
No,
it
it's
leveled
leveled
off.
out.
It's
Yeah,
leveled
yeah,
off,
leveled
but
off a little bit. It's
there's
not so
still that
new.
super excitement. And the I was in a convention with all, and I'm talking like way bigger companies than us, and we just
Mhm.
happen to be there. And we're talking about senators in the state of New York. We're talking because how much money they're making. They bring the senators, not from like the government, or from the United States government, from the New York Senate, come in and their projections on their tax dollars and stuff. And they're
No,
like, yes, nuts. And they're like, basically, what can we do to make it even bigger? Like, how can we help you guys make it bigger?
I'll tell
Like,
you how
that's how
they're going
big
to
they're
start
in it.
putting that in the stadiums, which we've already seen. I'll tell you what,
Oh
there
no,
was a, there
no,
was,
no. You're wrong, Lenny. The big thing, casino. Online casino, New York is this close to passing it. I don't know if it'll get it in this year. It always comes down to right at the end of the
yeah.
legislature year.
Uh,
If they do it, I mean, the projections, we already know what it is because Pennsylvania has it, New Jersey has it, and there's another state, Michigan. I forget. There's third state. Uh, if New York does it, the projections that they're
if
giving, it's going to
you,
be three
everybody falls
times
in love.
bigger than sports because there's some people that don't like sports and don't bet
Yeah.
sports. Everybody, if you're a sports bettor, you bet casino. But not every. It doesn't work
Slot
the other way
machine
around.
stuff, table
It's
games.
going to be
There's
three
something for
times, and
everybody.
there's no risk because they know they're going to win 95% of the time. Which
House
actually,
always.
sports books, they actually can lose. Not most weeks, but there's weeks they lose. There will be no losses in casino, and it will be. And I met the guy named, it's called Leo Las Vegas. Leo
Of
Vegas,
course
I
we
think is
do.
what it's called. It's not in the U.S. It's a foreign outfit. They have a warehouse over in Sweden, I think it is, and now they have one in the
Servers.
U.S. where live dealers sit there and they're dealing live to people online. And this
Son of a, it's
and
like
they
a Zoom
brand it
meeting.
whatever site they're working on. So like they basically outsource to this company, Leo Vegas, say MGM or
Right, right,
whoever,
right.
but they're live. They do live craps, live everything. And this guy, super impressive, of course, guy. I mean, talking billion dollar company. And it was like this guy's talking, and I'm like, no way this will work. And he's like, and like this is probably 3 years ago, and then it opened in Pennsylvania, and he's like, and it was a huge hit. But yeah, so
Uh,
basically, what they'll do is it has to be legal in your state. Then they
mhm.
make you open the warehouse in New York City because now you keep these people's tax
Right.
dollars. And so when New York goes live, they'll make them open a warehouse. This guy will open a warehouse. He'll hire 400 dealers, so they'll around the clock deal all these games, and they pay way more than Vegas casinos do. because it's all regulated. You know what I mean? Like
It's all
like,
convenient. It's about convenience too. I mean, do you, I don't go play poker because I don't like to sit in a poker room forever. And if I
the
do, I sure the hell
one
don't do it
industry
on
that people thought were going to like be a boom was poker. Poker will be the last because they make very few dollars on it because you just get the rake, and it's like
yeah, that's it.
the only
That's why
thing what will
you're
happen
sitting there forever.
will be that it'll be the last, but it'll be like, hey, we just want to keep poker players so that they'll bet sports or gamble in the casino, in the live casino as well. So, but yeah, it's like when and it's not if, it's when
It's
there'll be
when.
online
Yeah,
casinos
yeah.
in every state because the tax dollars are going to be so big. They're already seeing it for sports, and they're going to be like double, triple, quadruple, and it is going to be crazy, which will be great for us sports players because you're going to be able to get some crazy bonuses then.
Yeah.
The deposit bonuses and that, because they just want to get you in and stay in
Get you in.
their app. Right now, you get those bonuses just to get in the first time.
I like it.
But when it was offshore, you'd get them all the time because they wanted to keep you in there.
Yeah.
Now they don't really worry about that. But with the casinos, they will want you to.
They will.
They'll be like, hey, you got to bet in our
Advertisements,
casino.
yeah. Email marketing, all that good stuff.
It's going to be, that's going to be the boom in our business again. It's going to be like,
bang.
So
what are you thinking for tonight, Monday night? You got anything you want to share before we bounce out of here?
I like all the over props tonight. I think Joe Burrow, I think it's like 3 something. I was like, dude, this kid is 350. I mean, he's thrown for big yards. I think Chase is like 79 or 81 yards or something. I'm like, he's going over. Joe T. Higgins going over. CeeDee Lamb's going over. Like, I just think the Bengals defense sucks, and I don't understand how the Cowboys defense sucks. I don't understand. You look at, they got some great players. They just suck.
They're just bad. They're just not a good team.
The only thing they lost really was their coach, their defensive coordinator, but it just shows you how important a defensive coordinator can be because
they're just not a good team.
I mean, look where Washington is by just getting a good coach, and look where the Cowboys are by losing your defensive coordinator. They still have the same head coach. It's like coaching does matter. I mean, that's why your Lions better be starting to groom.
They're fine. They're fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, all that Dan Campbell like going for it all that time. That looks great when you have good
I hated
offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators. Dude, that was the dumbest move.
So in the fourth quarter at the end, I didn't mind that. I didn't mind that at all to go for it. I did not mind. Hold on. The one in the third quarter when he's on his own 30, that might have been the worst call in football history. That was just dumb.
You don't need to do it anymore. He has the best team. Like, have you ever heard
they read the articles sometimes too much, Greg. They read them too much.
Have you ever watched that 30 for 30? It was like the Miami and Notre Dame Catholic First Convicts.
Yeah,
and Lou Holtz's always thing was he would tell his team, if guys have to use fake punts and trick plays, they don't think they can beat you man to man. Yeah. And Miami tried to go for a trick punt and it backfired, and it really rallied the team.
Yeah.
And it almost is that way. It's like, dude, you don't need to do this anymore. You have the best team.
I don't know why because we always feel like that. I'm telling you right now, the way he changed the culture is always as an underdog. So he always he doesn't, and I don't think they know how to play, understanding that they can do what they want.
He could have just kicked the field goal. Like, if he doesn't get it, they could lose. They could go to overtime and lose. It was like
he come there to win. He didn't come there to play overtime. We come there to win. We got shit to do.
Right, but you still could have. I mean, they still were stopping them. Like, they still could have stopped them.
That defense is going to be a problem. I'll tell you what. In this Buffalo game coming up, take overs in every which way, shape, or form for everybody on both squads, because I think the Lions will score anything they want at any point in time against Buffalo. And I don't think the Lions will be able to stop Buffalo.
I told you last week I think I was on and I said Rams are gonna beat them because they're.
Oh yeah, I was on the Rams
ahead, and like it was the easiest money. I mean, they were never ever leading, and the Bills. This is kind of their Super Bowl because if you look now that the Chiefs, they just continue to find ways to win. Like, if they lose this game, they have no chance at home field. I mean, with the games left. So it's like, this is their Super Bowl.
For Buffalo.
The Eagles, I don't think the Lions worry about the Eagles. Like, I mean, they really should have. That guy that bet $3.5 million on the money line on the Eagles is like, you're an idiot. First of all, they were minus 700 or whatever it was, probably bigger favorite
right.
than that.
That's just not smart.
They should have lost. I mean, and if they catch that touchdown, I'm guessing they're going for 2 there. And like they would have been up more than a field goal then, and it was like, 30 seconds left. So, yeah. To me, this is why people need people like me. There's no way you should ever bet a money line favorite more than minus 170 in football.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, there's got to be some parlays involved or something.
This is like the guy that goes to the horse track and bets $100,000 to win on show and hoping the horse wins $2.10. So you get, 5% back on your money. It's not worth the risk. It is not worth the risk.
It's risk reward, and there ain't enough for it. It's not, the risk is too much.
What they try to argue is if you played the stock market and you bet 20,000 and you won 5,000, you would be really happy that day, or it grew 5,000. It's like the difference is your stock could go down and you have 18,000. Let's just say, so you didn't lose all 20,000. If you bet 20,000 trying to win 5, you lose 20,000. You don't lose.
You don't lose
3,000, and it could go back up. The stock could go down one day and go back up the next. So, it's crazy. All right.
I'm going to bounce on out of here.
Go Bengals, although I want them to lose. Just, I'll be very honest. I want them to lose.
Don't forget, check out Craig's Premium Plays, picksandparlays.net. We're here Monday. I'm here Monday through Friday, 5 o'clock Eastern. Good luck unless you're against us. We'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, folks.